her CV after the second speaker presentation. Okay. Okay, Mr. Mustafa, can you hear my voice?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Syarif, Mr. Izzudin.
Okay. Okay.
Dear participants, I'm sure that you find out who are the really two speakers, and will be informing later the third speaker of our online discussion speakers today. So we are going to start first to give a chance to Mr. Saiful to give 15 to 20 minutes information about how Mr. Saiful having learning experiences, especially in Bangladesh, relate with the education system, and how is Bangladesh government there overcoming the pandemic of the COVID-19. So I give a chance to Mr. Saiful to raise your presentation. Please, Mr. Saiful.
Assalamualaikum. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all my participants. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Thank you. I'm privileged and I'm delighted to be with you. It's a great honor for me that I'm with you, and I would like to extend my thanks to the organizers, especially my friend Izzudin, Syarif, Mustafa sir, and Ketikata organization. Thank you so much for nominating me as a speaker. Listen, it's a great opportunity for all the people who are trying to help during this pandemic. The same way Bangladesh government, the teachers community, parents, and all other related people are trying to overcome this pandemic situation.
Thank you very much.
Now,
Mr.
I'd like to go for the presentation. I would like to share the screen. Okay, can you see a page?
Yeah, we can see your page.
Okay. Mr. Syarif, maybe there is a problem to remove the pages, to change the pages. So I think you have my pages.
Okay, okay. Mr.
Please
Erma,
share it.
Miss Erma, would you please share the screen?
Shall I
Yes.
stop sharing?
Wait a few minutes. Wait a minute.
Okay. Mr. Saiful, would you please to stop your share screen? So we will try to.
Bisa sambil dijelaskan mungkin Pak Izzud? Nggak apa-apa, sambil penjelasan saya share screen.
Oke. Bapak Ibu, setelah ini nanti akan dihadirkan presentasi dari Bangladesh, Mr. Saiful, karena ada kendala teknis sehingga share screen-nya kita lakukan dari Indonesia.
Oke, ini baru. Oke. May I share screen? Bapak mungkin bisa bantu Bapak? Ya, oke. Okay. Yang nemu dulu.
Wait a minute. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, it is clear.
Okay. Not yet.
Is it appear,
Not yet.
Not yet.
Mr. Saiful?
It's not appeared. It's not.
Okay.
Okay.
Is
Good.
it appear? Yeah.
Yep.
Much for
Yep.
helping me. This is my identity that Mr. Go to the next page.
Next page.
Thank you so
Second
much.
page.
Bangladesh is a South Asian country. You see our map. Bangladesh is almost surrounded by India and Myanmar, and on the south there is the Bay of Bengal, and this is our beautiful flag. You see, these present the red circle presents our sacrifices for our independence, and this blue and this green shows that Bangladesh is a green country. And all over the Bangladesh, you will find this greenery. Thank you so much. Go to the next one.
Next.
Okay, dear guests and participants and audience, I would like to give some basic facts about Bangladesh. You know, Bangladesh's full name is People's Republic of Bangladesh. It's a parliamentary democracy country. President is the head of the state, while the head of the government is Prime Minister. 26th March is our Independence Day, and Bangladesh got freedom in the year 1971. Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman is the founder president and the father of the nation. Currently, the Prime Minister of our country is Sheikh Hasina. She is the daughter of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The capital of our country is Dhaka. It is the biggest city. Our currency is Taka. $1 is equal to 85 Taka. And our per capita income is $2,064. Our population is about 7 crore. And about time zone, it's +6 hours GMT. Okay, I would like to go to the next page.
Next, please.
Okay, especially we are talking about the education of Bangladesh and how the teachers of different Asian countries are performing during pandemic time and for pandemic time. So you see a chart here. Our education levels are divided in parts. You see the first column, and you see the second column, what are the division of levels. You see the third column, age level. No, it's grades 1 to 5 or fourth column is age level. Okay, so you see our primary education is from grade 1 to grade 5, and their student age limit is 6 to 10 years. And you see secondary level are different into 3 parts. One is junior secondary education, that is from grade 6 to grade 8, and the students age limit is 11 to 13 years. And secondary education is class 9 and 10, and students age limit is 14 to 15. And there is also, you see, higher secondary level. that we say class 11 and 12, and the students' age limit is 16 to 17. There is also vocational institutions. There is also religious institutions. These religious institutions are called madrasas in our country. And these madrasa students are getting the same valuation like the school-going students. And you see there is tertiary level education, there is bachelor's, there is Kamil. Kamil is also, you know, bachelor degree in like madrasa education, in madrasa or religious education. Then there is also tertiary level engineering and technology students. So there is bachelor's degree. You think about master's degree, there is 1-year master or 2-year master's degree, depending on different universities. You see also MPhil degree, Master of Philosophy, and also there is doctorate degree, that is PhD. So maximum institutions are being sponsored by our government, and there are some government school, full government school, and there is semi-government school schools in our country. Especially government school are performing better and tuition fees are not that high. But sometimes you will find that there are some private schools, private English medium schools, those are charging high tuition fees from students, and especially students of solvent families are going there. So this is a picture of the educational institutions and education system of our country. Rather than that, we have three public examinations. Students after having finished their grade 5 level, they sit for public examination. Then in class 8, that means junior secondary education, grade 8, they also sit for another public examination. Class 10, after having finished their grade level 10, they sit for another public examination. And after having finished the students' 12th class, they sit for another. That means they need to sit for they for as many as 4 public examinations. After having finished their grade level 12, they get admission in different universities, medical college, and engineering university or colleges. This is a big picture of our education system and institutions in our country. Rather than that, there are English medium schools and students are sitting for O-level and A-level examinations. And dear guests and audience, I would like to inform you another thing, that is, in our country, we have started 2 level of education, that is 2 medium of education, that is Bangla medium and English version. That means the students and parents who are interested to teach their children English version or English version, they can do the same curriculum like Bangla version. So this started few years back. Okay, I would like to go to the next page. Thank you so much. To see a picture of students having books uphold here. You see, our education year starts on the 1st January every year for school students, suppose up to class 10. And every year, all the students are getting provided new books for all subjects free of cost. We feel proud that Bangladesh only in the world has done it, giving all the textbooks to the students free of cost. And you see the number, 41.6 million students are getting 344 million free books in the year 2021. Even in pandemic situation, we have provided books to our students, and it's a big support for the parents and the students. Okay, let us go to the next page.
Ready?
Dear audience, I would like to give you a big picture of the steps taken during COVID-19 pandemic in Bangladesh. You know, this situation is unprecedented, and this is a very unexpected situation that happened all over the world. But our government and our people have tried to meet this challenge like other countries. You see, when pandemic started, our government stopped all the educational institutions in the country on 17th March 2020. And from then on, online classes started after 1 month of the closure of educational institutions. And we have, that means the government have decreased the tuition fees, and sometimes they didn't take the tuition fees from. The government has given a special support to the teachers when needed. So our government is trying the best to support the education. Okay, let's go to the next page. Academic steps in Bangladesh during COVID-19. You see, let us see some other steps and initiatives we have taken and we have accepted. Suppose for keeping the students engaged in learning process, so many initiatives are taken. Some of them are initiation of online classes through Zoom platform and Google Classroom platform, telecasting classes on television. You see, we have few public televisions, that means government television channels, and these channels telecast different programs and different classes, you see, for all level of students. And teachers made videos on different subjects and different topics, and those videos were uploaded for the students. And you see, social media is playing a big role during this pandemic situation, as we are also attending this Zoom meeting right now. So we have used Facebook, Messenger, Imo, and WhatsApp for academic purposes. Okay, you see, Facebook live streaming is also helping. For taking test, or you can say examination, questions were uploaded on school or college websites. Subject-wise assignments were also given for the students for grade level 6 to grade level 9. Dear audience, I would like to give a bit explanation for assignment. So our government to engage our students more, and then that's why our education policymakers decided to make questions for different subjects and for different classes, and 6 sets of questions were given for each class from class 6 to class 9. Now, After getting these questions, students wrote the answers at home and they submitted these copies of assignments to their respective schools, uh, maintaining social distances. And later on, assignments were given to the respective teachers. After assessing these assignments, teachers submitted these assignments to the school again, and a mark is also given for these assignments. We tried our best to engage our students so that they are busy with studies. Some students are auto-promoted from grade 1 to grade 9. You see, as students are not coming to schools and we are not taking classes or taking examinations, that's why our government has decided to give them promotion up to the next class. So I would like to go to the next page. Okay, a few other things that must be mentioned here. So many steps were taken to keep the students engaged in academic activities. Still, there are some discrepancies, you can say. There are some lackings, there are some problems. Special problem is about devices and about the technology. Suppose internet, you know, everywhere in a country there is not that full speed of internet or internet facilities. That's why all the students could attend classes that we take through Zoom platform and from other media. So some students remained behind of these academic activities. Okay. Many schools in cities could perform well, whereas rural schools lag behind. So this is another picture of our education during this pandemic. Okay, next. Okay. Listen, the institution where I serve is given here. This is a picture of my institution. Our institution is a very big, it has a very big campus as well as 3 big fields for students to play, or 3 big playground is there. And our institution is in the heart of the city. And it is inside of Dhaka University. Dhaka University is the biggest and the oldest university of Bangladesh. This is my institution's picture. Let us go to the next. These are my colleagues, my honorable colleagues. Our colleagues are skilled degrees. All of have finished their master's degree in their respective subjects, and they are must to do their master's in education degree. Some of them are PhD degree holders. Let us go to the next. Okay. In our institution, every day morning assembly is being taken, and you see a picture of that. Let us go to the next. Okay, some extracurricular activities are being performed in institutions. There is English club, science club, debating club, awareness club. In our English club, I am the moderator, and science teachers are there. And debating club, I also look after the debating club. And you see a picture. This is an awareness campaign for keeping the campus clean. students are awareing the other students so that they keep their institution clean, their house, surrounding their house, and the whole uh, area clean. And after having finished their education here, wherever they will go, they will keep clean their workplace and other places they go. So this is an awareness program. Okay, let us go to the next. Okay, this is another interesting thing. For maybe all of you are selecting leaders, or you can say captains for your class, wherever you are doing your job. So I have initiated another way to select the captains. I arranged an election, and through that election, students are taking, through that election, student leaders are being elected. And all the students in the class are voting those. And it was a very free and fair election. Let's go to the next. Okay, it is a bit experience that when I was in the USA, where I was attached in a school, and I tried to give some idea about Bangladesh. Thank you so much. Next. Next. Okay, I feel a bit honored when after having finished, my students went to other institutions. They honored me with some gifts. Okay, maybe you have so many questions, and some of you have asked few questions. I would like to answer these questions at the end of the session, because I have another meeting to join with some Japanese educators.
Okay.
Next. Thank you so much. I am grateful to you for your patience and for your time. Inshallah, I will see the end of the session. Thank you so much. I'm
Thank
grateful to
you.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Saiful. That's a really excellent presentation. For the participants, Ibu Bapak sekalian, for those who have some question, please writing your question in our chat room, and Mr. Izzud will take
Okay.
a lot of questions. We will have a later at the end question and answer. Now we are continuing our presentation for the second speakers, Mr. Glen. The time is yours, please.
Okay.
Mr. Glen.
Okay, Glenn. Okay, the time is yours, please.
Okay, thank you so much. So I will share my screen first.
Okay, for all audience, Glenn and then Mr. Saiful and me, we are the same. We were the same boat for Arizona State University years ago, and then right now he joined with us to share his experience in Philippines. Please, Glenn.
Okay, once again, good afternoon, everyone. I am Glen Banaybanay Pacot. I'm a Fulbright DI Fellow year 2019 to 2020. I'm a Master Teacher 1 in Taligaman National High School, Butuan City Division, Caraga Region, Philippines. And this afternoon, I will share to you the learning experiences from the Philippines, particularly on the education system that we have and the Department of Education's response to COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, we know that Philippines is one of the countries of Asia, and it has three main groups of islands: Luzon, which is in the northern part, Visayas in the middle part, and Mindanao in the southern part, in which I am presently located. Specifically, in the timber city of the south, Butuan City. So what is the education system of the Philippines? So I'd like to inform everyone that we have a trifocal education system. This trifocal education system mandates the Department of Education or DepEd, which I am part of it, in basic education, which covers elementary education, secondary education, and non-formal education. Second is the Technical Education Skills and Development Authority, or TESDA. It administers the post-secondary education and middle-level manpower training and development. And the third one is the Commission on Higher Education, which is responsible for higher education. DepEd Order number 52, series of 2015, states the new organizational structure at the central office, at the regional office, and the schools division offices. On top is the Office of the Secretary, or OSEC, which provides the overall leadership and direction at the national level. Other strands in the Department of Education, we have curriculum and instruction, governance and operations, finance and administration, legal and legislative affairs, and strategic management. The Secretary of the Department of Education delegates the supervision of the field offices to the Undersecretary for Governance and Operations. And in my country, there are 17 regional offices under our Deputy Secretary, Leonor Magtolis Briones. In Caraga region, this is the office of the Department of Education in Caraga region, where I am presently teaching. There are 12 division offices under the regional director, Francis Cesar Bringas. In the division of Butuan City, where I am presently teaching, there are 15 district offices under the schools division superintendent, Dr. Marilu B. Didomo. And in East Butuan District 3, where my school is located, there are 10 schools under the leadership of our public schools district supervisor, who is now here today joining me, Dr. Jonas Pumuno. And I'm proud to introduce to you my school. This is the entrance of my school, Taligaman National High School, under the leadership of our principal, Mr. Almer Catalunya. And there are 87 faculty and staff comprising the strong workforce of Taligaman National High School. In a historic moment for advocates of educational equity, President Benigno Aquino III, our former president, approved Republic Act number 10533, signing into law the K+12 program on May 15, 2013. This is an act enhancing the Philippine basic education by strengthening its curriculum and increasing the number of years for basic education, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. As you can see from the illustration, this is the enhanced basic education curriculum of the Philippines, the K-12, which encompasses at least one year kindergarten education, 6 years of elementary education, 6 years of secondary education, which is divided into two, 4 years of junior high school and 2 years of senior high school. Let's discuss one by one. Kindergarten. Kindergarten is a prerequisite for grade 1, following the passage of Republic Act 10157 or the Kindergarten Education. This is a free 1-year public kindergarten education for children at least 5 years old, starting school year 2012 to 2013. In elementary education, same with kindergarten education, for the first 3 years, the instruction, teaching materials, and assessment shall be in the regional or native language of the learners. And when they reach grade 4, there is what we call a mother language transition program from grades 4 to grade 6 so that Filipino and English shall be gradually introduced as languages of instruction until such time when these two languages will become the primary languages of instruction at the secondary level. In secondary education, in terms of the structure, there is now a lengthening of the years of education because before there were, it has only 4 years of secondary education, but now there is an additional 2 years to make it a total of 6 years, which is divided into 4 years junior high school and 2 years senior high school. And in terms of curriculum, it is now decongested and contextualized. And the planning instruction will be replaced by the spiral approach, wherein learning is a process of building upon previously learned knowledge. In terms of assessment, we have this National Achievement Test, or NAT. Before, it was taken by second-year students, but now they're replaced by an examination at the end of grade 10 for junior high school and grade 12 for senior high school. There's also NAT in elementary at grade 6. And for senior high school, there are 4 tracks in which the students to choose from. We have academic track, technical vocational livelihood track, sports track, and arts and design track. Department of Education in the Philippines also adheres to inclusiveness and respect for diversity. We have different programs implemented in the country, and one of these is the Mother Tongue-based Multilingual Education, or MTB-MLE, which refers to language first education, which is evident in kindergarten and the first 3 years of elementary education. The second one is alternative delivery modes, which provide quality education to marginalized students and those at risk of dropping out. Third, we have madrasa education, which provides learning opportunities within the context of Muslim culture, customs, traditions, and interests. We also have alternative learning system, or ALS, which provides practical option to the existing formal instruction. Another one is the Indigenous Peoples Education, or IPED, which promotes the right of indigenous people. And of course, inclusive education, which provides a learning environment where children with and without disabilities are taught to get together as equals. We can't deny the fact that the world is challenged by this COVID-19 pandemic. Despite the pandemic, DepEd, or the Department of Education, always believes that learning opportunities shall be available. Thus, DepEd Order number 12, series of 2020, states the adoption of the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan for school year 2020 to 2021 in light of the COVID-19 public health emergency. So what is this Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan, or BELCP? Well, this is a package of education interventions that will respond to basic education challenges brought about by COVID-19. One of its features is the adoption of the most essential learning competencies, or MELCs. The BELCP streamlines, because we already have a standard K-12 curriculum. This time, the BELCP streamlines the K-12 curriculum into the most essential learning competencies to be delivered in multiple learning modalities and platforms. So what are these learning delivery modalities? So in the Philippines, under BELCP, we have 4. 1, face-to-face. 2, distance learning. 3, blended learning. and for homeschooling. So let's discuss one by one. For face-to-face learning, students and the teacher are both physically present in the classroom, and there are opportunities for active engagement, immediate feedback, and social-emotional development of the learners. Actually, there was already a plan to conduct a dry run for, for face-to-face classes this month. But because of the new strain of coronavirus, our president, Rodrigo Duterte, canceled the dry run of the face-to-face classes, thereby leading to the suspension of the pilot test of face-to-face classes until further notice by the Department of Education. And of course, to uh, to those areas which are at high risk of COVID-19 pandemic, so this face-to-face is not possible. The second one is distance learning, which is widely practiced in the Philippines. This learning takes place between the teacher and the learners who are geographically remote from each other during instruction. So there's no physical contact between the teacher and the learners. So again, this is the widely used learning modality in the Philippines. And in the distance learning, we have three sub-modalities. One is modular distance learning. Second is online distance learning. And third is TV or radio-based instruction. Let's discuss one by one. Modular distance learning. So this is one type of distance learning which involves individualized instruction that allows learners to use self-learning modules. It could either be in print or digital format, whichever is applicable in the context of the learner, and other learning resources like learners' materials, textbooks, activity sheets, study guide sheets, and other study materials. The second type of distance learning is online distance learning, in which it features the teacher as facilitator, engaging learners' active participation through the use of various technologies accessed through the internet while they are geographically remote from each other during instruction. But in rural schools like mine, in Taligaman National High School, uh, we we don't adopt this type of learning modality. So this type of learning modality, online distance learning, is best practiced through the use of learning management systems. So in the Philippines, we have two used learning management systems that are used by teachers and students. One is the DepEd Commons. This DepEd Commons is designed to give access to online review materials and open educational resources during class suspensions and other similar consequences like or circumstances like what happened now in the Philippines, which we are experiencing pandemic. So the teacher and the students can have a free access to online review materials and open educational resources. The second one is the DepEd LRNDS, or the Learning Resources Management and Development System, which is also designed to support increased distribution and access, still the same, to learning, teaching, and professional development resources at the region, division, and school levels of DepEd. And the third type of distance learning is TV and radio-based instruction. So in the Philippines, this is practiced. This utilizes self-learning modules converted to video lessons for television-based instruction and self-learning modules converted to radio scripts for radio-based instruction. And for the information of everyone, the DepEd, or the Department of Education, is proposing the implementation of the DepEd TV and the DepEd radio as a long-term strategy for education. And the third one is blended learning. So this refers to a learning delivery that combines face-to-face with any or a mix of online distance learning, modular distance learning, and TV and radio-based instruction. And lastly, we have homeschooling. This is an alternative delivery mode that aims to provide learners with quality basic education that is facilitated by qualified parents, guardians, or tutors who have undergone relevant training in a home-based environment. So this type of modality allows families to educate their children according to their personal faith, philosophy, and values, and to adjust their learning schedules around family schedules and other circumstances. And in my school, again, Taligaman National High School, of the 4 types of learning modalities, we adapt the distance learning, particularly the modular distance learning. Why? Because as we conducted survey in our school, there were only few students who have access to technology, like having laptops, gadgets, internet connection. So that's why our school decided to adopt to the use of self-learning modules, be it in printed or digital format, to be used by our learners. And I want you to watch a short video about my school, which shows other practices that we do, especially in these times, COVID-19 pandemic, to ensure a safe and to ensure a safe and quality education to our learners.
Good morning.
The video showing some of the best practices in my school to ensure a safe school for not only for the teachers but also for the parents, students, and other stakeholders. And these are the references of my talk for this afternoon. I think that would be all. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih, Glenn. It's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mr. Glen. That's a really excellent presentation. We found some information about how the education system in Philippines at your schools with a very detailed information. The next one we are going to hear from Mr. Syarif. Would you like to introduce Ms.
Yeah.
Ainee, please?
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Miss Erma, would you please? Okay. She's the last speaker for today, but she's very special because from Pakistan. She's my friend, Syeda Ainee Ali. You can call her Ainee. Her education, currently on track to receive Master in Learning Design and Technology, Arizona State University, Master of Science MSc in Physics. I think Ainee, you are the same with Mr. Glen, Physics. Yeah, Mr. Glen is the same basic for Physics. And Bachelor of Science on Physics, Karachi University, a level equivalent FSc in Pre-Engineering Park Air Force Degree College. Okay, this is very interesting white paper. White paper recombinant innovation. Sorry. Okay, solar wind. Okay, solar wind. So Ainee is very focused to try to solar cell attached to the back combined with technology like 5G. Wow, it's awesome. And project emergent technology, a forbidden journey of photoelectron. Okay, next. Okay, she has so many projects and awards. Solar wind technology. Okay, won the challenge, Reimagine Smart City. Okay, down. Okay, professional experience, MSU Upward Bound, teaching assistant, July 2017 until May 2018. Upward Bound is designed to motivate students from low-income families and or future first-generation college students to complete high school and help them in transitioning successfully to post-secondary institution. Next. Okay, Extension Foundation. Okay, this is very interesting. Research analyzed 2015. Extension is the digital arm of the National Cooperative Extension System, the largest informal learning network in the United States. Compile and analyze priority areas for 17 US states in terms of agriculture and food production 2015. Institute for Public Policy and Social Research. Next. Okay, workshop. Okay, 12 theoretical physics workshop and 5 practical physics workshop. So you can see, audience, Ainee is very, she has a physics background and certification. PY0101EN, I don't know exactly what is it. You could ask her after. Okay, and then the last. Next. Okay, skill. Okay. Next. Okay, so many skillful. She's very skillful. Okay, storyboard with Twine, Audacity, 3D printing, laser printing, Slack. Okay, next. Okay, volunteer service. Okay, volunteer for Arizona Science Center. This is where I met Ainee before in Arizona Science Center, right, Ainee? After school program called Create You, and until now I get the email from Arizona Science Center. Okay, and the last one, if you want to contact with Ainee, you can contact him on the email on the above of the CV. Okay, thank you. So this is your time, Ainee. You can share your screen, and then audience, this is Ainee from Pakistan. You can unmute your speaker.
Hello, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. It's really very nice to all of you. So let's start our presentation. Okay, wait. So in order to discuss the learning experiences in Pakistan in the post-COVID era, first we'll discuss a bird's eye view of the traditional learning system, a general concept of the educational system in my country, right? So if you look at general concept that emerged, especially during the post-COVID era, we can see that the educational system of Pakistan is quite class-based. What I mean by that is that you can find a school, a teacher from an elite school that is being paid 70,000 rupees to a teacher in a village, who is being paid 2,800 rupees, right? Depending upon these classes, there is difference in the provision of resources as well, right? May it be professional development and technological issues. Not only these resources and technological development, the diverse background of educators and teachers also counts a lot. Even if you provide professional development and resources, the way a teacher or an educator is going to, adopt those. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
Ainee.
Yes,
Okay.
I can
Ainee.
hear you.
Yes.
Okay.
Clearly.
Keep going, keep going.
Okay, so depending upon these diverse background of the educators, the way they adopt these professional development as well as the resources varies a lot. How they adopt it as well as how they convey to the students, this varies a lot. So although this is a pattern that is quite expected, but due to post-COVID era, the use of technology, distance learning, these kind of means stood out. They came out as the very important means to promote education. That is the reason why these emerging patterns were quite evident, right? Next, I will be showing you a video that I had created as a part of my assignment in my graduate program at Arizona State University, which is called Bill's Analysis. Now, what is Bill's Analysis? It's a way to analyze a technology or an experience, right? For example, technologies that play a role in education, that can be artificial intelligence, mobile devices, LMS, many other technologies, as well as your learning experiences. So as a part of my last assignment, I was supposed to create a Bill's analysis on learning experiences in Pakistan, in my country, right? So first we'll try to understand what is Bill's analysis. So the B in Bill's analysis is basically business value. What business value does this learning experience or technology promote? U, what user experience? What are the users saying about this technology or learning experiences, right? I, impact. What impact did this learning experience create on students, learners, users, etc.? And what learning experiences does this technology provide? Dependencies. What technology is this learning experience dependent on? For example, right now I'm giving you a talk. This is a kind of a learning experience, but we need certain technologies. For example, what do we need? We need good internet. We need laptops. We need Zoom, software. So these are certain technologies to carry on this talk, which is a learning, right? So dependencies is basically a technologies or multiple technologies that a learning experience would require. Signal. Signal means what future do you see of this learning experience, right? So this is a very holistic, very broad way to analyze a learning experience or even a technology. So I'm just giving you an introduction so that you know what the video is all about. Next, what are the certain contents that I'm going to cover in this video? Right? So this video, we were supposed to create this assignment, this video for one of the authorities of our organization. I had created this video for Tanya Edrus. Tanya Edrus is basically a lady who was chosen by our Prime Minister Imran Khan to spearhead, to lead an intervention, a step called Digital Pakistan. Digital Pakistan is basically an intervention, a step that is meant to digitalize the systems of Pakistan. Major systems that include are commerce, agriculture, health, and education, right? So this report, basically the builds analysis, kind of a report, a video report that was created for Tanya Ejrus. Now, what contents that I covered in this video are distance learning. Since the learning experiences, they vary from, traditional schools, distance learning. So I had to be, quite sure of what am I choosing. So first and foremost, I chose distance learning. And for distance learning, I chose virtual university as well as Allama Iqbal Open University. These are the two universities that provide distance learning in our country. Oxbridge Innovation, that's another kind of venture. That's another kind of company, you can say, that provides hands-on experiences on multiple levels. That will be explained in the video as well. Comics by Ascorps Entertainment. Comics is another way to promote learning experiences, right? And that is also being done in Pakistan. Qaid Se Baatein. This is a basically a YouTube series which promotes, which is basically Qaid Se Baatein means conversation with Qaid, conversation with Qaid-e-Azam. Qaid-e-Azam was the founder of Pakistan, and in this video series, there's a child who tries to solve the problems of her country by having conversation with Qaid-e-Azam in her dreams, right? So these are the certain things that are discussed in that video. Okay, so give me some time and I'll play that video for you. Education becomes change agent. Change is one of the principal characteristics of this world. Education works as an agent of change. And education becomes change agent. It also changes and improves itself according to the needs and resources of the society. Today we will learn about the emerging shades of learning design. Thus, this video as an example of shifting tools of learning design as it unfolds on.
I'm sorry, Ainee, we cannot see your video.
You cannot see my screen?
Yeah, your video. Your video.
I am sharing my screen. I wonder what happened. Can you see my video?
Only the presentation.
Only the presentation.
Only the presentation, I see. Okay, wait. Just hold on.
Okay.
All right.
Now can you see the video?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Great. Would you please louder for the audio? Okay.
To a toy designed on this STEM-based principle, to an e-learning platform of Ainee, to a robotics of Philipines, as well as any educational YouTube videos. The build analysis for the emerging field of learning design is submitted to Tanya Ejrus, who has been appointed to spearhead Congress to work on Digital Pakistan initiative. She is determined to put Pakistan on the map in the innovation. For this build analysis, we will be discussing a variety of technologies that are all an expression of learning design. First and foremost, distance learning opportunities are being provided for people of economics, workers, engineers, as well as people of disability. Distance learning is cost-effective and efficient agent of delivering education to masses. It encourages learning anytime, anywhere, empowers personal and professional development, boosts productivity, creates a culture of learning management systems, help control students, collaboration, and interaction. Allama Iqbal Open University virtual universities
providing quality education in this region. Having said that, enhancement is required in multimedia support for instructional design, communication and delivery strategies, on-job training opportunities, use of modern educational technology, students support services, evaluation system, innovative learning strategies like updated material, e-classrooms, video and lectures, micro-teaching, social media, etc. Another expression of learning design is a venture like Oxford Innovative Solutions that partners with schools and informs them of the value vision they bring into existing math, science and technology classrooms by adding hands-on material. Further ahead, certain comics, for example, from Ascot Entertainment, and YouTube videos, for example, Aay Se Baatein, which means conversation with Aay, are being used to convey classroom concepts and powerful messages to address the problems evident in Pakistani society and transform it into a better place to live. Distance learning in Pakistan is based on modern information and communication technologies with its clear mission, not for profit, to provide stable, affordable, and world-class education to aspiring students from all over the country as well as overseas Pakistanis who join its rigorous programs within 20 years of live television broadcast and print. Aay Se Baatein is a Pakistani animated series on YouTube about a young girl named Zainab who is always thinking of ways to help in better Pakistan. In each episode, she encounters a problem, which she then solves by remembering the words and actions of Aay Yazan, the founding leader of Pakistan. Aay guides her into dreams, but doesn't tell her the solution. He instead leads her how to be problem solving, so that Zainab solves the problem herself by taking the first step. The main purpose of this show was to present a role model of the Pakistani student. The show has tried to spread special resonance among youth. In order to understand the user experience of Oxford Innovative Solutions and Ascot Entertainment comics, let us look into the reviews and slides ahead.
Kondisi itu lagi yang kapok. Ular tadi.
Distance learning provides flexibility, cost effectiveness, learner-centeredness, with job opportunities, and collaborative interaction. But it still needs to foster dynamic learning opportunities for students through online education, for example, introduction of mobile learning or online classrooms that can enhance the learner's motivation level and respond adaptively to enhance learners' critical thinking, problem-solving skills, and creativity. As comic books continue to be used in schools to enhance learner understanding in classrooms. Due to its huge success, Aay Se Baatein launched Season 2, as well as an interview series named Zainab Se Baatein, Conversation with Zainab on social justice issues. Oxford Innovative Solutions continue to provide services in education, energy environment, capacity building, IT and telecom, monitoring, and evolution. In Pakistan, vast majority of literate population cannot access to higher education due to high cost and institutional restrictions. Working learners can continue their employment while studying and thus increasing productivity. Ketikata and Ascot comics are an experiential learning program for youth focused on civic education and classroom concept. Some of the core expertise of Oxford Innovation Solutions lies in primary and secondary education, educational software development, ICT coding, renewable energy, environment, and hands-on activities. Virtual education is an innovative instructional paradigm supported with advanced applications of internet and instructional technologies, that is learning management system, YouTube, video conferences, and virtual television. Self-learning through text and supplementary materials, broadcast on TV and radio. While YouTube videos like Ketikata for animators, content developers, designers, Okay, so I think that you all are kind of unable to listen to the sounds. I don't know why, what's going on, although the sound is maximum at my end.
It's okay.
So we'll move ahead in my presentation.
Okay, it's okay.
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 Yes. So okay, so next I wanted to discuss about the Citizens Foundations, right? The Citizens Foundation is basically a foundation that provides distance learning in the rural areas. Due to post-COVID era, I think that the research shows that the rural areas were the most hard-hit areas because of the lack of sometimes resources, the technology, etc. Right? But Citizens Foundation came ahead in promoting education in these areas, and they have a very nice video. I hope that you're able to hear to this video. And where they explain how what are the steps that they take to promote education in these areas, right? So I'll share shortly with you that video as well.
I'm sorry.
Can you see the video and hear it?
The picture's okay, but the sound is not there. Cannot hear.
You can hear me?
Cannot. Yeah, we can hear your voice, but not the video.
Oh, I wonder why. Okay, so I can give you, a brief, overview of this video. What they are trying to say is like they have different means and materials that they have utilized to share education, to promote education that adds, magazines, television casts, as well as different assessments. And the step in the main concept is like to promote the core concepts. The way it stands out is because it is in the rural areas, they do not have much support, especially at home, right? Many of the elders are not that educated. So they have taken care of the fact that the assessments and the curriculum is based on the core concepts, so that the children are able to stay in touch with the education, right? So these were a few of the steps that they had taken to promote education in these area.
right? So we'll go
Yeah.
back to our presentation.
Okay.
Okay, so as we are coming to the end of our presentation, what next? What future recommendation can we provide, to better our learning experiences? What were the emerging patterns that we would like to invest on? Right. First and foremost, parents were, due to this, learning from home, parents were quite involved in the learning experiences of their children, of their students, and their feedback helped in creating, keeping the teachers as well as the overall system quite accountable, right? So we need to invest more in parents for our future recommendations, right? Because as they play a key role in the learning experiences of their children. Next is, there were many people, especially in the rural areas, that dropped out since there were no face-to-face education, especially in certain areas there's still no provision of face-to-face education, right? So there are many people, many students who dropped out. The steps that we need to take are to bring back those students who have dropped out of this education, of this change in the setting of the education system, right? Since many people, not only the students who dropped out from the schools, we all know, being parents, COVID-19 and the usage of distance learning has created some learning losses as well. How the day-to-day experience of our children is that they tend to get distracted while online learning, right? And that affects their learning level. Certainly when the teacher is not right there in front of them, there are, the students might tend to get distracted. That has created learning losses. What can we do to, solve this problem? There's an organization called RISE, which stands for Research on Improving Systems in Education. Right? They have proposed certain solutions that we can do to bring these students back and to solve these learning losses. So once they come back, we need to assess how much children know when they return back to school, and sorting them by their learning level, right? And then tailoring the teaching experience to each level. So these are the certain solutions that we could do to solve these learning losses that are occurring in everywhere throughout the world, whether developing countries or developed countries, due to this post-COVID era. Right. Now, this is a quite general reform that we all need to bring. I've heard talks in the developed countries, in MIT, in Stanford, in Harvard, as well as my country as well. And I think that other countries as well, that our examination, the way we assess our children, is a way that the student doesn't feel that the experiences are relevant. Right? It's not relevant. So instead of, checking their critical thinking, checking their problem solving skills, it's quite a subjective manner. It's quite a method that has been going on since years. So we need to bring reforms in that phase as well. One of the professors at Massachusetts Institute of Technology proposed that how about if we create learning environments where we combine biology, physics, chemistry, mathematics, and create an environment, whether on a paper or through a technology like AR or VR, where the students know about the world, and that they are immersed in, and they can solve using all of these integrated subjects, right? To make our examination relevant to the student and to check their problem solving and critical thinking skills, instead of, following the pattern that has been going on since years. Last but not the least, we need to take care of the educational systems, that it should take care of the language that a student understands, right? Instead of promoting education in a language that a student doesn't understand, there's no use of it. So language is a key role, which language you're trying to promote your education in. So this is also another aspect that we need to invest, right? In the end, I would just like to quote Albert Einstein's quote that out of clutter finds simplicity, from discord find harmony, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. So let's not take this COVID as a calamity. Let's use it as an opportunity to to create learning environments like this talk, which is kind of a learning experience for all of us, where I think hundreds of people are being connected through this technology, I think especially because of this COVID era. And let's use it as an opportunity to create learning experiences that can help push the intellectual boundaries of our learner. That's it from me, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Miss Ainee. It's a wonderful presentation from you. Ibu Bapak sekalian, ladies and gentlemen, we are having all of the speakers already presenting their information. Before we are coming to the question and answer session, I would like to make a recap from three speakers. We have today a really excellent speaker, starting from Mr. Saiful and also Mr. Glen, or the King of Glen, and the last one is Miss Ainee. I would like to recap the 5 things. The first point is that Bangladesh, Philippines, and Pakistan have similar challenges happen with our education system in Indonesia, whether we have some characteristics each other. The second one, that our education of department of each country, whether in Bangladesh or in Philippines or in Pakistan, try to find some of solution, yeah, especially solution for the education challenges during this pandemic COVID-19. The third one, we found that what Mr. Saiful informed, what Mr. Glen present, and what Ms. Ainee give us, we found some new experiences and then new information, how we can solve the problems or the challenges happen in our own schools. And the fourth one, that what Mr. Saiful mentioned about the way to overcome the education challenges, and also Mr. Glen, where Mr. Glen give us some information about the formal, informal, and non-formal education also. And I found that really excellent for us, that information. And the last one for Ms. Ainee, we found from your presentation, you really use the high technology presentation, whether you are showing the presentation, at the same time you're speaking, also directly writing on the your presentation display as well. So the committee already recapped some questions from our participants, but I believe we couldn't answer a question, yeah, because our time, we are having now 17 minutes to begin our online discussion. I'd like to invite Mr. Syarif to guide the question and answer.
Okay.
Please, Mr. Syarif.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mustafa. It's so many questions from audience, but maybe we only choose one audience. Miss Sri Murni, SMA 10 Yogyakarta. Ibu Sri Murni, apa bisa bergabung dengan kita? Oke, Ibu Sri Murni. Baik, kalau tidak ada, kita lanjut ke Titi Kusneti. Bu Nenti SMKN 8 Surabaya. Bisa bergabung dengan kita? Miss Nenti.
Yes. Can read also the question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Miss Nanti, you can ask directly to all our speaker right now.
All right. My question is about vocational education. how is in your country running this system of educational vocational, of course, and what is the problem during the regulation of online studying, I mean.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Izzudin. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Miss Nanti. Okay. Maybe Mr. Saiful, would you please answer this question? It's related to the vocational high school. Your speaker. You can unmute. Can you unmute? Okay, is there a problem, Mr. Saiful? With your speaker? Okay, Mr. Saiful, can you hear us? Okay, your voice. Would you please unmute your speaker? Okay, good.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you have to allow me to unmute it.
Okay.
So you are the host. Listen, thank you so much. The vocational education, present world, technical hands are needed, and with this purpose, our government has established so many vocational schools in different districts and different places. With these vocational schools, students are getting certificates, as well as they're getting skills in different works. So this is very needed for our country at present time. So that's why these schools are being highlighted, and these schools as valuable as general education certificates. So this is one thing about vocational, because our government has highlighted and focused on it much. And another question was regulation about online classes, isn't it?
Yes.
So listen, these online classes are being by teachers, and sometimes there are some problems. You know about cyber security and other things. So there is regulation for this. So one cannot do anything that is not legal, or that is not appropriate. So we know the addresses, their names, and something unexpected, then institutions are punishing them. But these cases are not that much. So this is happening in our country. So strong regulation is there, and our education ministry have passed some principles or etiquettes for joining Zoom classes. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Glen. Okay, Mr. Glen, can you hear us? This is your turn to answer this question.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for that question. Well, if you can recall my presentation, that in the Philippines we have trifocal education system, and unfortunately, I'm not part of that one agency, the TESDA, or the Technical Education Skills and Development Authority, because I'm part of the Department of Education, which provides basic education from elementary to secondary education. But as far as I know, in terms of vocational education in the Philippines, so we have that. There are TESDA training courses offered in the Philippines, in which students will take up modular courses and short courses. And then after that one, they will be assessed upon completion of the technical courses. They are required to take the national certification examination to assess competency level of students. And then after passing the mandatory exam, students will receive certificate of completion, transfer of records, and diploma.
Okay.
But if I will refer to that in my experience as a secondary school teacher in the Department of Education, we actually have one subject in the secondary education, and that is TLE, Technical Livelihood Education, in which as early as high school, as early as junior high school, they're already exposed to different vocational courses like housekeeping, food and beverages,
electricity,
maintenance, something like that, in which they are free to choose what course they would like. In preparation, I think that is the strategy also of the Philippine government to prepare them, because not all of them will take up higher education in college. Some of them might go to technical vocational education courses. As early as high school, they're already prepared. Another question was about online education, right?
Yep.
Okay. Again, I'd like to be honest. In my school, we're not using online education because our school is a rural school, and it's a rural school, and only few could afford technology like laptops, gadgets, internet connection. But in other schools in my town, yes, there is online education. But what is challenging? I think I read that in one of the comments in the chat box. How are you sure that the student really having focus on online education, something like that? So I'd like to say that this is a collaborative effort because teachers are not at home. So as much as possible, parents must also understand their duties and responsibilities, that they need to help the teachers in supervising the students. Actually, the parents and the teachers can communicate with each other as to how their students perform during online learning. And by that sense, we can help, we can help our kids or our students to really have focus on online learning education, because I believe this is really challenging. It's really challenging in these times of pandemic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Excellent answer. Okay, now your turn, Ainee. In Pakistan, how about you? Vocational high school, and then online learning.
Yes. So what I would say is like the government has actually separated the we have got 4 provinces, kind of like states in US. We have 4 provinces of our country, and the steps are being taken province wise, right? And the vocational the education is basically provided in terms of through different organization. It's a combined venture, and it's also basically to support those students who cannot go to universities, or just a means to start their own careers. And so there are some provisions of certain certifications, and it is as broad as computer coding, STEM based principles, to something like mechanical, like
electrical.
Yes, skill based as well. Yes. As far as the online, what was this online
learning?
Online. Okay. So online learning, I've actually already talked in my presentation as well. Yeah, I mean there is a varied experience in my country. People have resources. There are different depending upon their levels and backgrounds. They have resources. I've seen some excellent resources that are being provided. And then if you go towards rural areas, then there are certain problems as well. But I think what I see is in my country is the general trend that I see. There is an issue of low connectivity, right? And that can occur, that can create a hindrance during an online learning.
Yeah, I know that. Maybe we are all of us struggle to implement our online learning, not only in Pakistan, Bangladesh, or Philippines. in Indonesia we are having the same problems. Okay, thank you for all speakers. This is our last session. Maybe Mr. Mustafa, would you please continue?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Syarif. Thank you, Mr. Saiful, Mr. Glen, and Miss Ainee. I found that for one question, actually already give us a big picture how the Bangladesh, Philippines, and Pakistan try to improve education and then facing the managing of the pandemic COVID-19 as well. And then what I would like to give the information to the participants that what we get from our three speakers here, that they already inform us not only formal education, but also the vocational, what we have in Indonesia between general schools and then vocational schools for the high school level or the secondary level. They also give us some information of that. And then for the participants, all materials of our speakers will be sent it to you with your certificate later. And then I would like to see you for the three speakers, Mr. Saiful, Mr. Glen, yeah, special Mr. Glen, that you have a very special effort for having our this afternoon discussion. Yeah, by having special place for you. Thank you very much. And also Miss Ainee, even you are in Pakistan, but we can see face to face each other. And thank you to Mr. Syarif that already as a moderator also support us because of Mr. Saiful, Mr. Glen, and Miss Ainee is colleagues from Mr. Syarif in full.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mustafa. Yeah. Finally, we are on the last session. Bapak Ibu, ini kita sudah berada di sesi terakhir.
Yes, Mr. Yes, please.
Oke, kita sudah berada di sesi terakhir, Bapak Ibu semuanya.
Lanjut, Pak Saiful. Pak Syarif.
Oke. Kita sudah berada di sesi terakhir dari diskusi online kita pada hari ini. Sebelum kita mengakhiri, before we closing our online discussion, please open your video because we want to take we want to take our picture together. Would you please? Bapak Ibu, silakan untuk membuka layar virtualnya masing-masing. Kita akan mengambil foto bersama.
Mas Matthew bisa dibantu?
Bisa, Berma.
Oke.
Oke, di saya ada 3 slide.
Yap, di saya ada 5, Mas.
Ya,
okay, for all speakers, we want to take a photo together.
Okay.
With literacy greeting.
Oke. Ya, 1, 2, 3. Oke, slide yang kedua. Kedua masih malu-malu videonya. Oke, 1, 2, 3. Slide yang ketiga. 1, 2, 3. Oke, Berma.
Oke, terima kasih Mas Matthew.
Okay, thank you for all audience. Thank you so much to Miss Ainee from Pakistan, my friend Glen from Philippines, and Mr. Saiful. Thank you for all your presentation today, and I'll see you next time. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.